What's going on, everybody? It's me, Chavez. I'm back with another MLB player prop video for you. Today is July 29th, 2023. As always, I hope this video finds you all doing well and in good spirits. We're kicking things off by recapping our plays from yesterday. We'll spend a moment or two going over Thrive Fantasy's newest promotion. Make sure you're partnered up with them. I'll tell you how to get that done. And then we'll dive into the Prizepicks board. I have a few plays that I do want to share with you today, in addition to just some plays that I have my eyes on that I want to put on your radar as well. So if all that sounds good to you, I encourage you to stick around, drop a like, sub up, click the notification icon to get notified of all upcoming content from me and the channel. And without further delay, let's get into our plays from yesterday. All right, first and foremost, can we just talk about how wrong I was? Not about Corbin Carroll looking like Cam Rising, because I think he looks like Cam Rising, or the other way around. How wrong I was on Javier and Cutter Crawford's strikeout prop going under. Oof, like way off. So let's talk about that real quick. Javier sitting at 5.5 got bumped up to 6 and got bumped back down to 5.5. I was really heavy on the under, even though the juice was on the over. We saw this before versus Oakland. Heavy juice on the over, he comes through, doesn't hit that. So a lot of things were adding up to taking the under despite what the books were showing. So I took the under. My reasoning was sound, but the results were not there. Javier finishes the game. He still might be striking people out right now, but last time I checked, he had 9 strikeouts. Cutter Crawford, similar situation. Now this got bumped down to... believe this got bumped down to 5, and then it stayed at 5 if I'm not mistaken, and he finishes with 7. So 2 pitchers that I had the under on, I had reasons why, both go over, and that's how it goes sometimes. So Cutter Crawford goes over with 7, Javier goes over with 9, Corbin Carroll also goes over, but we did take the over, so that was a win for us. Goes over his 7.5 fantasy score yesterday. So 1 and 2 on the day, and we look to bounce back and move into a new day with new plays. Before we do that, I do want to show you a couple of slips that I played yesterday. So very close to hitting 25x on one of these, and then as you can see, Christian Javier cost me almost a perfect slip on the other flex entry that I had yesterday. So with all that being said, we move into a new day, new plays, new breakdowns, and all the good stuff. Let's spend a moment or two going over the newest promotion from Thrive Fantasy, and then we'll dive into the Prizepicks board. All right, Thrive Fantasy, partner of the channel. Make sure you are partnered up using promo code Chavez to double up your deposit. Make sure your first deposit is $25 or more, but once that's taken care of, you get a 100% deposit match up to $250. You'll gain access to friendlier payout structures, free squares, and then you'll get the chance to take advantage of this week's promotion. It's almost done. Tomorrow's the last day to jump into this rake back week. 20% of your net losses being credited back to you in the form of prop lobby tickets. Make sure that Thrive Fantasy has your username and your user email, and you're all set up over on Thrive Fantasy. If you have any questions about that, drop a comment, let me know. I'll be more than happy to answer anything you got. All right, here we are on the Prizepicks dashboard. Now, before we get into today's plays, I do want to take you through the dashboard and just show you some, additional plays that I like for today that we're not going to be diving into detail on, but I do want to just put them on your radar. So starting with some pitcher strikeout props, Reed Detmers was really standing out to me before his line got bumped up to 5.5. At 5, I really liked it. Now, you can still like it at 5.5 because he needs 6 to go over. He needed 6 when it was at 5. The only difference is you don't get the push potential. So if he gets you 5 and his line is at 5.5, you lose, and that will mess up your slip. Johnny Cueto at 4.5. We'll talk about him a little bit more in more detail in this video. Quinn Priester is another name that you can look to. Was at 4, got bumped down to 3.5. I like the under at 4, but at 3.5, kind of like the over now. So those 3 guys are on my radar. James Paxton, new addition to the board. This wasn't available to me 15 minutes ago, but it is here now. After looking at what Cutter Crawford did against the Giants yesterday, I think you could do a lot worse than taking a look at the over on Paxton's 6 strikeouts. Guys like Tyon Schmidt, they're also in consideration today. taking the over on both of their strikeout props. Tyler Wells was another one at 4.5. Now I got bumped up to 5 versus the New York Yankees. You could still like it at 5 because he does offer some push potential there. Thought 4.5 was a little too low. Kind of saw that bump coming. And then, I mean, if you want to roll the dice on Hunter Brown after seeing what Javier did to the Rays yesterday, there's another name you can put into your slips. And as we scroll further down, Brian Wu, he's also on my radar as well. So those are just some pitchers that I have my eyes on for today. But in today's video, let's take away some of these names. And these are two guys that I do want to talk a little bit talk about more in detail with you today, in addition to Mitch Garver and Seth Brown. So this video could run a little long because anytime I run with 4 more plays, I see the video time in around that 12-minute range. So make sure you exercise the chapter features. They're there for a reason, so you don't have to listen to unnecessary audio. But here are plays that we're looking at for today. If you got what you want, I wish you the best of luck. If you want to stick around and listen to me break them down, then stick around because I'm about to break them down. Let's start with a couple pitchers that we just kind of scrolled over a few minutes ago. And I want to start with Johnny Cueto strikeout prop 4.5. Now, I said I liked it. I like the over on this one. Let's head over to props.cash and I'll share with you why. All right, here we are over on props.cash. Now, listen, Johnny Cueto this season, there's not a whole lot to look at. He has 3 games, and his first game was back in April, and then his next game was in July. He has 2 games in July, 1 game in April. He's missed a ton of time this season, but we have a 3-game sample size to look at. Now, I guess the positive is that there is some ascension here with his strikeouts. He went from 0 strikeouts to 1 to 8, all right? Mixed results here, all right? Great game against Colorado, bad game against Baltimore, no strikeouts versus Minnesota. In terms of his pitching outs, I mean, he only pitched 1 inning versus Minnesota. He pitched 3 innings versus Baltimore, and then he pitched 6 innings versus Colorado. Today he gets to face a Detroit Tigers team whiffing at the 5th highest rate to right-handed pitching this season at 24.3 rate. So, I mean, again, not the biggest sample size, but I like the over on this prop just because the matchup upside. It's heavy. I mean, Detroit is striking out a lot versus righties. Cueto is capable of striking out a lot of batters. I mean, this is what he does. When he's healthy, he's really good at striking people out. Now, he is susceptible to a blow-up game as well. So we've seen Cueto get blown up before. Now, against the Detroit Tigers, I mean, we've seen it happen. Detroit can get to pitchers, but for today's prop at 4.5, I just think it's a good line to take the over on. I can definitely see this line being bumped in future games. If Cueto has a good game today, I can definitely see his next line being at 5.5 or even maybe 6. So while it's suppressed, I say we take the over 4.5 Ks for Johnny Cueto. That's play number 1 for today. All right, second player prop on the board. Let's talk about Brian Wu. Sitting at 5 strikeouts now. Gets a tough matchup today versus the Arizona Diamondbacks. But let's head over to props.cash and we'll look at this together. All right, let's take a look at Brian Wu on the year. Let's take a look at his overall splits, okay? We only have 9 games to look at here. So over those 9 games, he's hit this strikeout prop. Now, this should show 5, not 5.5. He's hit the over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. He's pushed once, and he's fell under this line in 3 games. Taking on an Arizona Diamondbacks team that's not striking out a ton versus right-handed pitching at just a 20.2 whiff rate this season. We can take a look at what other right-handed pitchers have done versus the Diamondbacks. We had Logan Gilbert finish the game with 5. Flaherty with 4, Wainwright with 3, who actually hit the over on his prop, Weaver with just 1, and Ben Lively and Spencer Strider both go over the strikeout prop. So, I mean, if you want to look at the last 5 games, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2 out of 5 pitchers have gone over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You have 5 out of the last 10 right-handed pitchers that have hit their strikeout prop. So, it sounds bad when you look at the whiff rate being so low, but when you look at the actual, results of pitchers versus Arizona, there's some success there. Now, Brian Wu, on the year is a 1.23 strikeout per inning guy. How many innings is he giving you per game? Well, on the year, he's averaging almost 6. So if he gets you 6 innings today, and he's roughly a 1 strikeout per inning guy, that's 6 strikeouts today. Now, we like it at 5 because 5 does offer push potential. Nothing wrong with push. We want the win, but I'll take a push over a loss. Brian Wu has a few things going for him today. I also like the fact that the opposing pitcher today, Brandon Pfaft. I think Seattle can get to him a little bit and put some runs on the board. And pitchers are different. Pitchers are different when they're pitching with the lead, a little bit more comfortable. So if Seattle's able to get Brian Wu some run support today, I think Wu can do the rest and finish the game with 5+ strikeouts. This one might get bumped up to 5.5, but while it's at 5, I say we take the over, and that'll be our second play of the day. All right, third play of the day, Mitch Garver. Mitch Garver is the guy who cost me 25x yesterday, but he was in a good spot yesterday. He's in a good spot today. Let's head over to props.cash, and I'll tell you why. All right, Mitch Garver over on props.cash, taking on Yu Darvish. So listen, up until yesterday, Mitch Garver was on a nice little roll, all right? I mean, we're talking about total bases here. He had 4 straight games of at least 1 base, and he had 4 straight games of at least 1 hit. This game is being played in San Diego, so road game for the Rangers. Look at what Garver has done on the road. So 3, 4, 5, 6 consecutive games with a hit, 6 consecutive games with a total base. Yesterday was his first game in 6 games that he hadn't recorded recorded a base or a hit. So I guess some regression was due at some point, but he was in a great spot yesterday. He's in a good spot today. 3 plate appearances versus Yu Darvish. No offensive stats to speak of. On the year versus righties like Yu Darvish, Garver has a .222 batting average with 5 homers, 1 double, and 12 singles over 89 plate appearances. I mean, RBI doesn't really matter for this prop, but he does have 17. Now, on the season, Darvish versus righties like Mitch Garver, .230 batting average, 8 homers, 1 triple, 5 doubles, and 26 singles over 193 batters faced. So Darvish doing a really good job of suppressing that batting average. His numbers aren't bad. I mean, he's allowing some power, but there's nothing here that screams you gotta attack Darvish with righties. He's gonna give up runs. He's gonna give up production. That's what Yu Darvish does. But overall, he's done a good job of suppressing batting average. Listen, this is a very low line, 0.5 total base prop. We need 1 hit from Garver today. It's something that he's done often, 8 out of his last 10 away games, and then overall, he's done this in 6 out of his last 10 games overall. So I like the over 0.5 total bases for Mitch Garver. It's a little too low for me, and that's going to be our third play of the day. All right, for our fourth and final play of the day, let's talk about Seth Brown, 1.5 total bases. I like the over on this one. We're headed over to props.cash so we can talk about it. All right, looking at Seth Brown's numbers over his last 10 games. Listen, Seth Brown is due. This game is being played in Colorado. It's like the biggest reason I like this number for him. I like this line for him, I should say. On props.cash, there doesn't show a starter for the Colorado Rockies, but when I dug into it a little bit more, the projected starter is Chris Flexen, who on the year has allowed an ERA of over 5, 5 homers, 25 hits versus left-handed batters on the year. Not the best numbers for Chris Flexen, if in fact he is the starter today. Seth Brown versus righties on the year. Let's take a look at what he's done. Right-handed pitchers, 234, 10 homers, 7 doubles, 19 singles. So lower batting average not lower batting average, higher batting average versus right-handed pitcher. Bigger numbers, more power. This game is being played in Coors Field. Again, I don't know how many times I'm going to have to say that. Over the last 10 games, Brown has gone yard 2 times. Both in the Oakland Coliseum. Much easier to hit a home run in Coors Field than it is at the Coliseum. So if Chris Flexen is the starter today. I like this spot for Seth Brown. I think 1.5 is a little low for a Coors Field game, and I think it's low because his numbers over the past 10 games are not that good, and he's kind of in a little slump right now. So we attack these lines when they're low, and we hope for the best. And I think Seth Brown is due. He's in a good spot today. Should get at least 4 at bats. Give me the over. Seth Brown, 1.5 total bases, and that's going to be our 4th and final play of the day. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for today's video. Drop a comment below. Let me know what you like on the board as well as your thoughts on today's plays. As always, thank you so much for all your support and helping this channel get bigger every single day. Best of luck to you all should you tail any of these plays. And until Monday's MLB player prop video, Chavez is out.